Barcelona Sprint is preparing to launch 5-gram smartphones early next year, CTO John Saw said at a Mobile World Congress roundtable here in Barcelona. When asked about whether we should expect to see smartphones announced for Sprint's upcoming 2.5 GHz 5 grams network at MWC 2019. Saw said, "I think that's about the right time frame. It's an aggressive time frame and we do need to get the network upgraded." Yesterday at MWC, Sprint announced its first 6 5-gram cities. The first 3 will be Atlanta, Chicago, and LA, Saw said. And the next 3 will be Washington, D.C., Houston, and Dallas. Sprint chose those cities because they have a lot of customers in each one. A critical mass of 2.5 GHz cell sites and sufficient spectrum to pull off its spectrum plan, Saw said. All U.S. carriers have been trying to one-up each other with 5 grams announcements here at MWC yesterday. T-Mobile said it's working on getting 30 cities up and running by the time those smartphones arrive next year. Verizon says it will have 5 grams fixed wireless for homes in Sacramento this year, and AT&T will launch later this year with a puck, or wireless hotspot, while the basic 5 grams standard is now set and the MWC halls are full of 5 grams network equipment. We're still waiting on 5 grams consumer devices. Samsung showed off a working Verizon home modem and a prototype tablet at the show. We've heard that Nokia will have a version of its M1 hotspot for AT&T, which will have Qualcomm X24 4 grams and X50 5 grams modems side by side. But phone makers won't be ready for 5 grams until next year, like T-Mobile. Sprint is focused on smartphones rather than hotspots, which AT&T is doing, or home internet access, which Verizon is doing. But unlike T-Mobile, Saw said Sprint sees an opportunity in 5 grams hotspots and connected PCs a little further down the road. It's not going to be a hotspot. It's going to be a phone because that's what customers want, Saw said. We will, over time, develop hotspots, mini-MIFIs. And we will also develop connected PCs. Sprint's plan is to use Nokia's massive MIMO cell sites, which have 128 antennas, to split its relatively broad array of 2.5 GHz spectrum into 4 grams and 5 gram sides. Sprint has 120 to 160 MHz of 2.5 GHz spectrum in most of the country, Saw said. 60 MHz will be used for LTE. And 60 to 100 MHz will initially be used for 5 grams. 5 grams will just about double the capacity per cell sector on Sprint's towers. Although the real-life speeds consumers get will be based on the capabilities of their phones. Also, unlike T-Mobile and Verizon, Sprint still relies heavily on 2 grams for its voice network. The company has been behind its competitors in switching customers to voice over LTE. And Saw said that's because Sprint wanted to make sure LTE coverage was good enough. The plan is to start turning up VoLTE markets towards the end of the year, Saw said.